So when I mean I'm in the cloud, I'm really in the cloud. Okay. I don't want to introduce myself. I mean, just look up on Google. Because what I'm going to say to you is actually more meaningful than who I am. We discussed today about, multi-cloud, having, mixing it up, how to do programmable infrastructure, how to see the overall picture. And I wanted to bring today a use case. Well, actually, this is the mixture of different use cases I'm seeing at the moment in some other customers. But what I want to show you is about how do we face the challenge in a real world. Okay, it's crystal clear. We do have challenges. We do have traditional applications. We do have new application. We want to go fast. We don't want our IT to go to the credit card and buy some services on Amazon, probably. Not with the credit card, though a customer of mine is spending by credit card on AWS 300,000 euros per month by credit card. That's a massive amount of money. I presumably think they want to earn some points on the credit cards. This is only the, I don't know. But definitely going ahead is a bit challenging. And having the demand of, probably due to the apps, I want to do everything now. And while traditional, well, in most of enterprises, having a single VM is not, I mean, technically you could have it in a few hours, but in most of my customers, it takes 60 days to 90 days to have a single VM deployed. And this is with the business, with the business requirement we're having now, this is pretty much impossible. That's why we have this two phases approach. We have heard about bimodal cloud. Gartner talked about it. Yes, does it work? Yes and no. But still, there is a need to have this kind of two-speed approach into the data center, especially for traditional workloads and certified workloads. So I'm seeing a lot of friction to bring some of the infrastructure into the cloud because of the rubber stamp of the third-party vendors. Just to name you a couple of them, have you heard of Oracle and SAP, for example? Big money companies run that anyway, but when it says, oh, cloud, OpenStack, or AWS, oh, shit, no. I mean, we can't maybe certified on the certain circumstance VMware, so you can't get rid of those because you run the business, though you want to have something new and something quick. Would you call it bimodal cloud? Would you call it multi-cloud? Whatever. The need is there. And by the way, I'm not just talking today. I will show you some real stuff. Again, this company is a huge company in the petrol area. It's a multinational company. They have this kind of approach. So they want to have something new, something quick, self-service for the internal customers. But still, they run SAP and they run Oracle. I'm not joking. They have really huge installations. They have branches all over the world, basically. So they want to, how do they want to start? So they want to create a new OpenStack cluster, stick the test and development, and get some limited production on their environment, while still having VMware on the side. How would you do that? There are several different approaches. You can use OpenStack as an orchestrator. So probably you are not aware of, but OpenStack can actually drive VMware as well. VMware actually have a product for that. It's called VIO, VMware Integrated OpenStack. So I'll be tweeting. If you do the manual way, let's say this way, OpenStack, you can actually have a region or availability zone on VMware and one on KVM. It's a way of approaching it. And honestly, it's my favorite way. There is a reason for that, for the API. Because as you have a single API, you can move your workload from one region to the other in an easy way. And you can do some nice tricks as well. But that's not always the case. The other way around is to use a cloud management portal. I'm pretty sure you've heard of them. They are basically web web applications. It lets you hook up some external resources, most notably VMware, OpenStack with KVM, and some external providers as well. AWS and Azure. In this specific case, this specific customer had 200,000 euros worth voucher for Azure. So Microsoft came in, instead of doing the usual discount, let's say, okay, I'll do the double instead of discount, I'll give some free Azure services. And now that IT manager turned back to me and says, oh, guess what? We need to use them. So as we have heard, there are workloads for specific regions. And in this specific case, Azure, we lost the public-facing sites, including the user interactions. There are some user portals for the end user portals. And that will stick on Azure. Well, for example, we have workloads balanced across the cluster. We tried some cloud management portal. We tried with HP. We tried with Scala. But the Scala seemed to fit. But the problem with Scala is that it cannot look up directly VMware. But instead, it needs to use OpenStack API to interact with VMware platform. On the other end, for example, HP was really costly. But aside the cost, the problem was the complexity. Usually this kind of cloud management portals are based on a business logic. So you have to create packages, and this is very complicated for some very basic use cases. So we decided to go to another route, to use programmatic or infrastructure. So use infrastructure as a code approach, and build on top of that a custom web UI. So what it does, oops, doesn't work. When it does, you log into the web portal, and you decide to deploy a virtual machine or a workload on a specific zone, not on a specific infrastructure. You say, I want this kind of workload in production, and then we'll deploy in VMware. So the logic is on the web portal. If you want test or limited Linux web, go to OpenStack. If it's public-facing, we'll go to AWS and Azure. And for this specific reason, since in this specific cases the Active Directory wouldn't work because of the protocols, we stick it in my identity management solution, which is SecurePass, that looks up the keys. We will show you a demo afterwards. Back. We have heard of programmable infrastructure. Who tried this before? Which kind of system? Everybody on Terraform? All right. Terraform as well. And that's the same choice we did, basically. We can discuss here that there are a few pros and cons about Terraform, but the good thing is that it's versioned under Git. So all the infrastructure is versioned. All the templates, if you're familiar with Terraform, basically has different files. Each one represents a resource. And each file is generated in JSON by the web portal, and then versioned on Git. Okay, so this is the way the custom portal interacts with Terraform. Then there is an agent, then apply Terraform, and builds or corrects the infrastructure. Because with the same technique, probably you are not aware of, but Terraform can make changes to the infrastructure. So let's say I want to grow the hard drive. You change the value of the hard drive size, and we'll apply that to you.
What were the other alternatives to Terraform?
Honestly, I've tried a couple of them, but I'm not really satisfied with that. So at the moment, the way you can use it is using the API directly. But, I mean, each one has its own experience. Again, I guess this is really, I mean, Terraform isn't perfect, but it kind of approach. And then it depends from, again, from customer to customer. If you're going to have semi-static resources, so service doesn't change that much, I don't know how much value you get from Terraform. I got another customer in the UK who is using Terraform very much, but probably too much. Because it makes sense in a specific environment. Well, let's say, for an example, they use it to build the Debian repositories as well. That doesn't change much. Okay, so that doesn't make that sense to create, you know. But in general, it could be handy, especially. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yoo-hoo! Okay, and we were talking about Terraform, and for example, Terraform, there are some defects of Terraform. Most notably, there is no, if two people are interacting with the same files and they run a Terraform apply, there is no lock. Okay, you can do a remote storage. So one very key thing about Terraform is that the Terraform store its state in a JSON file locally. We could publish it on a remote location, okay? Could be S3. I use it on, since it's OpenStack, I use it on Swift and OpenStack. But can be on console, for example, another one is using console. But again, there is no locking mechanism, so you can really mess up. So you have to really take care of what you're doing. So programmable infrastructure, yes, but take care. And then programmable infrastructure are not enough, okay? You have to have an automation tool, let's say this way, or a distribution tool. In some cases, we use Puppet. It's a matter of preference here. I'm not taking Puppet, Ansible, Chef war. Not entering this war. I prefer Ansible because it's more sysadmin oriented, but that's my own personal stuff. And Ansible here is actually bridging the clouds. When I do deploy, I have the same script for the same images across, be on VMware, be on OpenStack, under OpenStack, or under Azure as well. So with that, I can actually apply corporate policies all across my images. Okay. So what we do, let's say, for example, we install the backup agent, we install Nagios, we install the required packages. We, in this case, do either Active Directory logon, join to the domain, or we join through secure paths, depends on customers, and we do the basic stuff. Okay, so when we actually release the machine to the internal customer, it has all the requirements that he has. Oh, by the way, let's say if I have a schema, I think I have. Okay, this is the standard profile. We use it for security as well. 10 minutes? Okay, thank you very much. We use it for security as well, for security compliance. So if somebody changes something, the thing is resetted, and then he actually looks up on the Red Hat Satellite or Spacewalk, whatever you want. You have a patch management solution. So we can ensure, for example, the basic operating system stuff, we know it's buggy. So OpenSSL, or OpenSSH, HTTPD on Apache on NJ is always at the latest version. So we run the scripts, we run Ansible playbooks every week. So we ensure that all the machines are compliant to the security policies. And we provide a report as well. And yeah. And this is the cross-cloud logins flow. You connect basically, most of them are Unix machines, but the same applies to Windows machine. It's a bit different though. But we connect, we request for the user, we go to Active Directory, and we provide the membership from Active Directory. In this way, we can spin up many front ends, for example, when there is specific needs. Let's say over the weekend, we have some peaks, and we spin up some new instances front end to do the worker. And with that, we can actually join the domain and then destroy, because otherwise you taint the Active Directory. So we go use this technique not to taint the Active Directory. Could work on LDAP as well. Okay, could be, it depends on you, basically. But since was a short one, because I want to show you a demo. So this is actually a project, a real one. So if you're familiar with that, this is a make file. And when you do a make call, you basically create the whole infrastructure on 2 different sites. One on Amazon, one on OpenStack, and then you run Ansible. Okay? To give you, this is the AWS resources. We create a specific resource with a AMI. In this case, I use CentOS. I'm a former Red Hat guy, so I still use RPM. With some AWD, in this case, associate public IP. The same thing applies to OpenStack. I create a resource on OpenStack. Very easy. It's all on Git. I can prove it's right, actually. Git branch. We're on master. So it's actually under Git, this stuff. So when you do make all, it's actually applying Terraform, and we start creating resources. We show you there's actually creating resources here. This is a cloud provider, Horizon, sorry. That could be the same internally. This is a multi-region. Wow, what's wrong? Oh, ho, ho. Demo effect. Now refreshing for. Send into the console. And this is the AWS instance. A1. And there is the instance running, okay? But if you do make Ansible, it's actually creating the inventory file, and you start applying the inventory file to the newly created instance. Unreachable, what's up? Oh, AWS, no, OpenStack is not ready yet. SSH is not ready yet. But there it is. Too fast, too quick. There is a technique to wait it for its demo stuff. Okay. There is a flag. You can see if the SSH is not coming up or coming down, but you need to make a slight modification. Now, we are simulating installing the packages here, and then we'll disable SE Linux, and we'll do some other automated stuff as well. With this technique, we can actually create some other resources as well. I mean, for example, if you want an AWS DB, you can do it as well here. So it's very straightforward. This is actually a snapshot, sort of, semi-copied from a customer of us. Is actually using it in production. It is used to create this is actually using under Jenkins, okay, to create and destroy infrastructures to see if the application is running. The problem there, okay, it's a bit challenging customer. They needed to increase from 10 to 25 releases per day. With this technique, we are going to create and rebuild the whole infrastructure, and believe me, it's very big, in 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay, just to give you an idea, spawning a single VM in their infrastructure is 1 sec. The servers are here in Amsterdam. Okay, as I said, installing the requisites. We ensure the SSH is the latest version, so the patch is always applied. Okay. While it runs, any question?
How do you deal with the state information?
Okay, in this specific, okay, this is a demo. Okay, so it's on the local file. And the state, we usually use a remote state in Terraform. So it really depends on customer to customer. I tend to use Swift because when I do OpenStack, I usually put Swift into OpenStack as well. But for example, the other customer is really challenging is using Consul because they use Consul also to distribute the properties of their application into the data centers as well.
And the service discovery also?
Say that again?
Service discovery?
Yeah, Consul service discovery, yeah. It's a very big, multinational, multi-data center infrastructure. Just to give you an idea, we saturated the 100 gigabyte connections. So we need to find a way to work around the 100 gigabyte limitation. I'm sure you bought from this customer at least once in your life. Okay, NSGD, so is installing the identity management stuff. Any other questions so far? It's a bit slow, okay, but I mean, it's demo, okay. This is tools, enable MK on there. This is doing the security stuff.
And the Terraform providers?
Yeah.
OpenStack and Azure, AWS?
Yeah, and VMware as well. So, yeah. So in another customer, we are using VMware. So one good thing about Terraform is that you can create resources either on OpenStack, VMware, or Azure in that case, seamless. Exactly. We have basically 3 or 4 static files, which are the information about the resources here. Let's say this way. This is the common, okay, where you put, for example, public network, the defaults, the flavors, and the images you want to use. We use one separate for each provider. But at the end of the day, we have, okay, for example, ACG OpenStack here, AWS here, and VMware on the other one, okay? And then we create a JSON file. So this is the Terraform HCL. But then we create a JSON file, which is easier to parse for the internal resources. SPCTL user info. SPCTL user show. So this is the distributed user using Secure Pass Engine. And when we do, we can do SSH. What it does in this moment, well, it was very quick. So it actually fetches automatically the SSH key from the server and inject it into the server, the virtual server. It creates the there for the user and lets you in. And then it authorizes you for what is needed. So sudo, for example. And these are actually the user fetched from the user management system. But then deploying workload is just a matter of putting some other lines into Ansible, for example. Are you still awake?
Yeah. Very interesting.
Okay. Terraform show gives you the information about the topology. Okay. So it's very easy, very straightforward. Doesn't fit for everybody, but still it's very handy. If you're an ISV, that's absolutely one thing to have. Because with this one, you create a package, you give it to the user, do Terraform apply, and that's it. Okay. I'm here.
Okay. This is more focused on the deployment of the infrastructure. And the deployment of the application on top of this infrastructure, which tool do you use?
We still use Ansible. Okay.
Okay, also for...
Yeah, the thing is, for the demo purposes, we just have the basic approach, okay? But we do have specific roles and specific within the inventory. So when we build this is an easy way to build the inventory, okay? But the inventory actually in the real world is a bit more complicated, okay? So we have, for example, DB. Under the DB, you have all the databases. So when you put an IP or a fully qualified host name under the role section, it is automatically applied. So you want to MySQL, you just put the name of the server under the DB section, and then Ansible playbook, and it actually installed the application. So in many cases, we don't use Docker because the developers are not ready yet. In some others, we do. Okay, just since we are here talking about it. So this is, for example, a way of distribution of, here it is. So a small secret, okay. This is Secure Pass, which is my identity management. It runs on containers, but it's actually not using Swarm or any other Nomad or Marathon. It's actually used under Ansible to be distributed. So it's actually used effectively as a package management. But these variables, for example, are automatically populated on the data center, so that if you want to go to a specific data center, the database host is changed, and the password are changed, and SMTP relay is changed automatically. Because Secure Pass, it runs on 3 data centers, 3 different providers. Done? Thank you very much.